Lance, I think you can use the word emphatic to describe that win.
Yeah, I think that, I mean, people don't see what goes on at a football club sometimes. You turn up on a Saturday afternoon. Myself and Spenny, along with Darren Hayward, over the last 2-3 days, have been trying to get a side together because you have players, Tavares suspended, Mason ill, Marcus does his ankle in training on Wednesday night, not sure until the Thursday sort of daytime-ish. Obviously scurrying around to get players in. We did bring 2 players in as such. One you see today, Eunice, who was outstanding, I thought. Another lad called Kean, who's come from Kings Lynn, but they needed him today. So when you get that kind of result today, like you say, emphatic, 4-0, I think could have been more if we'd have been a bit more precise in front of goal. It was really pleasing because we talked about the Histon game and the levels that we reached against them in terms of our energy, but our togetherness, the way we worked off the ball. Thought today when you look at what we had to field, and it's not saying they're not good players, they are good players, but you've got Reece and Ben both playing as kind of 2 9s as such. I thought the second half Ben Toft was outstanding. Reece was a constant thorn in their side with his pacing behind, takes his goal brilliantly. And then he brings Games off the bench and scores a brace, thank you very much type thing. But the overall performance from first whistle to last was very professional.
You set out a bit differently today.
Yep.
Could you explain a little bit behind that?
Again, just because of clientele, it wasn't a case. Sometimes it's forced, and we knew what we had. If you think we haven't actually got a natural striker out there today, we get Jack from the under-23s, late on today, on the day of the game, just to have an actual proper centre forward there, But it just shows you. I think sometimes you're forced into formations as such. It worked for us today in that sense. And I think that the way that Harleston wanted to play, which is credit to them, because I think they tried to play football, but we got our press right so many times today, and we hurt them with our pacing behind them, and it was just an enjoyable afternoon in the end. At half time at 1-0, you think it could go either way. Can we sustain that level in the second half? And to score within 2 minutes of the second half and then go on like we have done, and was credit to the boys, and I think that fully deserved and a nice clean sheet.
You mentioned the press there, the closing down, and the winning the ball in the final third was very evident today. Is that something you've been working on?
Oh, it's something we're trying to get the boys to realise that the majority of the squad are quite young, and they should have energy, they should have legs. And we talked about the difference in terms of the 2 wins, Histon and Heacham. One's a great win where we worked our socks off. Heacham was an ugly win, and I said that if you can get that right, the way you pressed against Histon, against most sides in this league, energy-wise, we're going to give chances away. We're going to be bold. We're going to be 2v2 at the back at times or whatever it might be. But if we can press and smother teams like we have done today and put them on the back foot, we're going to create our own chances, and that's the way we've got to look at it. And I think that the way we've gone about it, especially after the Heacham game last week, which was a tired game from the Histon game, no doubt. But I just thought today we're at the same levels as the Histon game, and if we can do that, then we will beat a lot of teams.
You did mention in your first answer about 2 new signings, Eunice and Kean.
Yep.
Could you tell us a little bit more about them, where they play and what to expect from them going forward?
Eunice is a centre-half stroke wing-back, stroke full-back. He comes from Bourne Town. He's had a bit of tendinitis apparently, so he needs game time. Sam knows that their gaffer quite well, and that's how that link came about. And it was out of the blue, really, because we were, like I say, making phone call after phone call over the last 48 hours to bring people in, and eventually one comes up trumps. And so he came in and played today, and like I say, I thought he was outstanding. Kian Yamada is at Kings Lynn under-23s. Trained with us on Wednesday night. This is the sad thing for him in a way, because he trained with us on Wednesday night. Looked good, looked comfortable, looked competent, looked energetic, and then obviously gets called back into Kings Lynn because they haven't got enough players. So 2 players that we bring in, very similar. He's another midfielder, stroke fullback. So, but again, we were literally looking for numbers this weekend, and probably Tuesday night and probably next Saturday, and that's how we had to look at it. And luckily for us, both Kings Lynn and Bourne have got a player each that are available to do just that.
And you brought on Jack Whelan late on in the second half.
Yep.
A player from the under-23s, another use of our successful pathway.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm totally honest, it was sprung on me this morning by Scott, because obviously we're talking about players, etc. And why not? It's like, we haven't got an actual number 9 out there today. He was available, so put him into the squad. It's the ideal kind of opportunity for him to see how the first team do things and be in that environment, and obviously hopefully that will make him strive to be better and try and get here again.
More cup action then. On Tuesday, we travelled to Stowmarket.
Yeah.
Won that game from you.
Yeah, it'd be a tough game. I mean, Stowmarket, I've always liked the way they play. They show good energy every time I've watched them play. They have fullbacks that want to get forward. They're a very hungry side. So we have to do what we've done again tonight, or this afternoon, should I say, to be at it with Stowmarket. But it is something that we want to try and go as far as we can in the competition. So if we can get our boys refreshed, ready for Tuesday, I'm sure we'll give it a good go.